Olivia sold her apartment and invested all her savings to build her husband Nathan's company. But 6 years later, when Nathan said, "I'm sick of you, I want a divorce," his mother Margaret laughed. "She only married my son for money. Now she wants to steal half our fortune." They thought Olivia would leave with nothing because everything was in Nathan's name. But wait, when the court case began, Olivia's lawyer presented shocking evidence. Bank statements, transfer contracts, payment receipts. Everything proved Nathan was not the only one who built this million-dollar empire. The court's verdict will make you scream in disbelief. What dark secret did this family try to hide? The truth will absolutely blow your mind. And before we continue, write in the comments from which country you're watching the video, and also check if you're subscribed to the channel as I share interesting life stories with you every day. Okay, let's enjoy this story. See, in the mirror, Olivia was 32, and like a woman, worn out by life far beyond her years. 6 years of marriage to Nathan had left an imprint on her face, not of happiness, but of deep disappointment. She, a successful interior designer, had turned into a shadow of herself, a homemaker whose days blurred between the playground and the stove. When she first met Nathan, she saw in him a promising entrepreneur, bursting with ideas and energy. He was just starting his construction startup. Inspired by his enthusiasm, Olivia didn't hesitate. She sold her apartment and poured all the money into their shared home and business. She believed in him, in their future, but reality proved harsher. The business grew, bringing in good income, but so did the distance between the spouses. Nathan complained more often about exhaustion, stayed late at work, and at home he grew irritable and silent. From the start of their marriage, Olivia felt hostility from her mother-in-law, Margaret. This domineering woman, used to controlling every aspect of her son's life, saw Olivia as nothing but an opportunist eyeing her precious boy. Margaret never missed a chance to highlight the sacrifice Nathan's family had supposedly made to give Olivia a comfortable life, conveniently forgetting that it was Olivia who had invested her own money and effort into that very prosperity. "You should be grateful, dear," Margaret loved to repeat. "Nathan could have found a better match, but he's kind-hearted, always pitying others." Olivia swallowed the insult silently, avoiding conflicts. She hoped that in time, Margaret would change her mind, seeing how deeply she loved Nathan and their child. But years passed, and the mother-in-law remained as unforgiving as ever. Nathan, increasingly under his mother's influence, drifted further from Olivia. He stopped consulting her about the business, shared no worries, and spent evenings buried in his phone. Olivia felt a wall growing between them, one she couldn't tear down. One evening, when Nathan came home late again, Olivia couldn't hold back. "Nathan, we need to talk," she said, trying to keep her tone steady. "I'm tired, Liv." "Let's do it tomorrow," he grumbled, not lifting his eyes from the phone. "No, Nathan, there might not be a tomorrow. I feel something's wrong between us." Nathan sighed and finally looked up. "What do you want to hear, Liv? That I'm sick of all this, the work, you, this endless routine?" Olivia felt a sharp pain clutch her chest. "Sick of me?" she echoed, barely audible. "Yes, of you," Nathan snapped, unleashing like a dam breaking. "You've become so boring. All you talk about is the kid and the house. Where's the Olivia I once loved?" Olivia was speechless, unsure how to respond. She knew she'd changed too, but she hadn't realized Nathan blamed her for it. "I sacrificed my career for you and the child," she finally said, fighting back tears. "I thought that's what you wanted." "I never asked you to," Nathan shot back. "You chose to stay home." At that moment, Margaret entered the room. Overhearing, she couldn't resist interfering. "Nathan, don't argue with her," she said, addressing her son. "She's just trying to grab attention." "You let her get away with too much already." Olivia glared at her mother-in-law with hatred. She knew Margaret was pushing Nathan toward divorce, wanting to eliminate her and reclaim full control over her son. "Margaret, this isn't your business," Olivia said, straining to stay calm. "Oh, it very much is," Margaret retorted. "I won't let you ruin my son's life." "You married him only for the money." "That's not true," Olivia cried, unable to bear the accusations. "I loved Nathan." "Loved?" Margaret sneered. "Loved his money. And now that he's successful, you want to snatch half." "Enough!" Nathan shouted, drowning them out. "I'm tired of your fights. I want a divorce." Those words hit Olivia like thunder from a clear sky. She'd always feared this moment, but deep down, she knew it was inevitable. "Fine, Nathan," she said, hiding her pain. "If that's what you want, I agree to the divorce." Nathan and Margaret exchanged glances, as if not expecting such an easy win. They thought Olivia would beg him to stay, cling to him and what they saw as their money. But Olivia refused to humiliate herself. She knew she deserved better than life in the shadow of a controlling mother-in-law and a spineless husband. That night, Olivia didn't sleep a wink. She lay in bed, thinking about what lay ahead. She knew the divorce would be tough and painful, but she was ready to fight for her rights, for her share in the business and the home she'd poured so much into. She remembered helping Nathan at the business's start, designing the office, negotiating with clients, drafting legal documents. She wasn't just a wife. She was his partner, his right hand. She recalled Harold, Nathan's father, who always valued her contributions more than his own wife did. He'd often say, "Olivia, you're our lifesaver. We couldn't have done it without you." Olivia knew Harold probably wouldn't interfere in the conflict between his son and daughter-in-law. He was weak-willed, fully under his domineering wife's thumb, but she hoped he'd at least not hinder her fight for her rights. With her decision made, Olivia felt the strong, confident woman she'd once been awakening inside. She no longer feared the future. She knew she could handle any challenges and build a new life where she'd be happy and independent. Mother-in-law Margaret sat across from Nathan in his office. The setting meant to inspire confidence, but now feeling like a stage for an impending farce. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting stripes of light and shadow on her face, highlighting the predatory gleam in her eyes. "Don't worry, son," she said. Her voice dripped with the certainty that always convinced Nathan his mother knew best. "Everything's in your name. She'll walk away with nothing. You remember how we set it all up." Nathan, despite his outward bravado, felt uneasy. He disliked how his mother spoke of Olivia as if she were an enemy to crush, but he quickly suppressed it. Mother was always right, and now she said everything would be fine. "Of course, Mom," Nathan replied, forcing confidence into his voice. "I remember." Margaret nodded smugly. "Good. The key is to act fast and decisively. Don't give her time to regroup." With that, she stood and headed for the door. "I'm sure our lawyer will handle it perfectly. Don't fret, Nathan. We'll take care of you." After she left, Nathan felt relief mixed with anxiety. He picked up the phone and dialed the lawyer. He needed reassurance that the plan was on track. Meanwhile, Olivia, with a small suitcase packed, stood at the door of their shared apartment. She glanced around the living room, once filled with coziness and love. Now, only echoes of disappointment and hurt lingered. She stepped out decisively, closing the door behind her like turning a page in her life. She wouldn't make scenes or argue. She just left, leaving Nathan with the house and everything he thought was his. She needed time to think and plan. Arriving at Sophia's apartment, her best friend's Olivia felt some tension ease. Sophia greeted her with hugs and a hot cup of tea. "Liv, what happened?" "You're so pale," Sophia asked, worried. Olivia told her everything, holding back no details. Sophia listened intently, interrupting with words of support and sympathy. "I knew that Snake, your mother-in-law, would push you to this," Sophia said indignantly. "But you can't give up. You have every chance to fight for your rights." Olivia nodded. "I know. I'm not giving up. I just didn't know where to start." "Start with the documents," Sophia advised. "Gather everything. Contracts, bank statements, receipts, anything proving your investment in the business and house." Olivia followed the advice. She spent days sifting through old folders and boxes, collecting every relevant document. She recalled selling her apartment to help Nathan launch the business, working tirelessly on projects and bookkeeping, pouring her savings into the house Nathan and his mother now claimed as theirs. With the documents gathered, Olivia consulted a lawyer recommended by Sophia, an experienced woman specializing in divorces and women's rights. The meeting was formal yet trusting. Olivia shared her story in detail, presenting the files. The lawyer studied them carefully, asking clarifying questions. "You have a strong case," the lawyer said after reviewing. "You have proof of your financial involvement in the business and property purchase. We can file a claim to recognize it as jointly acquired and demand division. Olivia felt a surge of hope. For the first time in ages, she sensed she wasn't alone. She had support and could fight for justice. "What happens next?" Olivia asked. "Next, we file in court and defend your rights," the lawyer replied. "It won't be easy, but I'm confident we'll get a fair ruling." Nathan, meanwhile, was certain of victory. His lawyer assured him Olivia had no claim to the business or property. Everything was in his name. She couldn't prove a thing. "She's just a homemaker," the lawyer said. "She contributed nothing but her feminine charms." Nathan smiled smugly. He was sure Olivia would leave empty-handed, freeing him from her nagging love and care. He filed for divorce, unaware Olivia was preparing her counterstrike. He felt untouchable, fueled by his mother's and lawyer's confidence. With her lawyer's backing, Olivia grew more assured. She dove into trial prep, studying laws, consulting, and gathering more evidence. She was determined to prove she wasn't just a homemaker but an equal partner in business and marriage. One evening, as Olivia worked on documents, Harold, Nathan's father, called. He'd always treated her with kindness and respect. She valued his opinion. "Olivia, hello," Harold said wearily. "I know you and Nathan are having problems. I'm so sorry." "Thank you, Harold," Olivia replied. "I'm sorry, too. I wanted to say I've always appreciated your role in the business," Harold continued. "You were invaluable to Nathan. Without you, he wouldn't have what he has now." Olivia was touched. "Thank you, that means a lot. I know my wife hasn't always been fair to you," Harold added, "but don't mind her. She just loves Nathan deeply and wants the best for him." "I understand," Olivia said. "I hope you can find a compromise and settle peacefully," Harold concluded. "But if not, no, I'm on your side." The call from Harold boosted Olivia's confidence. She knew not everyone in Nathan's family opposed her. Some valued her contributions and supported her. She pressed on with trial prep, resolute to claim her rights and prove she deserved fairness. She knew a tough battle loomed, but she was ready. She was no longer a victim. She was a fighter, battling for her freedom and independence. At the first court hearing, Nathan lounged in his chair with a smug grin. Beside him, like a shadow, loomed Margaret. Her gaze pierced Olivia. Both were convinced she'd leave with nothing. Everything was in Nathan's name, and her input to Margaret was trivial help. Olivia held steady, though a storm raged inside. She saw triumph in Margaret's eyes, and weakness in Nathan's. He looked pathetic, a puppet in his mother's hands. She glanced at her lawyer, Benjamin, a young but self-assured man, and felt empowered. She wouldn't let them erase her so easily. Benjamin rose and addressed the judge. "Your Honor, we disagree with Nathan's petition and file a counterclaim. We demand recognition of the business, Build Invest, as jointly acquired property, given my client's substantial financial and labor contributions." Silence fell over the courtroom. Nathan choked on air in shock. Margaret let out an indignant gasp. The judge, impassive, eyed Benjamin. "Please substantiate your claims," he said. Benjamin nodded and presented evidence. He submitted bank statements showing large transfers from Olivia's account to Build Invest in its early years. He showed notarized agreements where Olivia relinquished her apartment share for their joint home, built with company funds, essentially hers. These documents prove Olivia didn't just help her husband. She invested her own money in the business's growth, Benjamin stressed. Moreover, we have proof of her active management role. She negotiated with partners, developed design projects, handled legal deals. Margaret tried to interrupt, but the judge silenced her with a gesture. "Allow the evidence," he said sternly. Benjamin continued, presenting records of Olivia's mortgage payments for the house statements, receipts, checks. Everything showed she bore a major financial burden. Olivia not only invested money, she worked tirelessly to ensure family stability and Nathan's business growth, Benjamin concluded. Her contribution was invaluable, and we believe it's fair to recognize her right to a share in the jointly acquired property. Nathan sat with his head bowed. He'd never considered how much Olivia truly did for the company. He'd taken her help for granted, seeing it as wifely duty. Listening to Benjamin, he felt his easy-win confidence evaporate. Margaret, however, wouldn't yield. She jumped up and shouted, "This is all lies! Olivia just wanted to grab our business. She's always been greedy and selfish." The judge banged his gavel for order. "Ma'am, calm down. You'll speak later. For now, maintain silence and don't disrupt." After a recess, Nathan's lawyer spoke. He tried to refute Benjamin, claiming Olivia's funds were minor compared to the company's turnover, her work mere spousal aid. "Your Honor," he said, "these transfers are insignificant against the overall revenue. Olivia simply helped her husband, as a wife should. She has no right to claim a share in the business created and grown solely by Nathan's efforts." But his arguments rang hollow. Benjamin's documents spoke for themselves. The court accepted all evidence, noting transfers, agreements, and Olivia's investments. As proceedings unfolded, new details emerged. It turned out Olivia's legal savvy and knack for spotting profitable investments had propelled Nathan's business forward. She skillfully closed deals, mitigated risks, and secured steady income. Harold, Nathan's father, had often praised her contributions over his wife's. Nathan's confidence waned. He realized he'd undervalued Olivia's intellect and strength. He watched his seemingly solid world crumble. Margaret was furious. Her meticulously built plan fell apart before her eyes. She hated Olivia more than ever, seeing her as a threat who dared challenge her control over her son and family business. Hearings stretched over weeks. Benjamin deftly countered Nathan's lawyer, unveiling more evidence for Olivia. He called witnesses, confirming her management role. He proved without her, Nathan's success would never have materialized. In one session, Harold testified. He affirmed Olivia's vital role, her legal knowledge and negotiation skills priceless. He said he was proud of her and considered her his daughter. Harold's words were a turning point. They shattered the greedy image Margaret tried to paint, revealing Olivia as a valued partner and professional. After Harold spoke, Nathan stopped resisting. He knew he'd lost. He couldn't meet Olivia's eyes. He felt guilty and pathetic. Margaret despaired. She understood she was losing everything. She urged Nathan to fight on, but he was broken. He no longer heeded her. The courtroom fell into stunned silence as the hearing ended. Nathan, pale as a ghost, stared at the judge, hoping he'd retract the words. Margaret, usually loud and assured, sat frozen, her face twisted in rage and helplessness. Olivia felt an odd calm. Victory brought no joy, just relief, like shedding a massive weight. The court ruled the house they shared or half its value went to Olivia as compensation for her contributions. Build Invest was deemed jointly acquired, subject to division. But considering Nathan's operational control and the need to keep the company afloat, the judge ordered monetary compensation to Olivia, matching her share. The sum was substantial. After consulting lawyers, Nathan realized he had no choice but to pay. It meant selling business parts, perhaps attracting investors. Losing control over Build Invest, his supposed sole creation, was unbearable. Margaret, learning the verdict, threw a fit. She blamed Nathan's weakness for letting that upstart rob their family. She demanded an immediate appeal, a better lawyer, but Nathan, crushed and defeated, knew further battle was futile. The evidence was against them. "I can't anymore, Mom," he whispered, eyes down. "I'm tired of this war." Those words struck like thunder. Margaret, used to her son's unquestioning obedience, saw a broken, lost man. She realized she was losing her grip. Paying Olivia became a blow not just to Nathan's finances, but his reputation. Divorce and property division rumors spread fast in business circles. Investors grew wary, partners more demanding. Nathan, accustomed to smooth success, faced a tainted name for the first time. Soon after legal formalities, Margaret left Nathan's house. He could no longer afford to support her. She returned to her old apartment, filled with memories of her all-powerful days controlling her son's life. Now, she was alone, realizing her manipulations and schemes had led only to ruin. Olivia, receiving her due compensation, began building her new life. She rented a small but cozy apartment in the city center, her own space, where she felt free and independent. One evening, in her office after a long day, Olivia gazed out at the night city lights. She felt weary but fulfilled. She'd endured a tough time, betrayal and pain, but emerged stronger, unbroken. Reflecting on the past, she harbored no gloating or revenge. She simply knew she'd done right, protecting herself and her future. Above all, she'd reclaimed herself. Olivia picked up a photo of her daughter from the desk. The little girl smiled back. Olivia knew everything she did was for her future. Just then, the phone rang. It was Sophia, her best friend. "Hey, Liv! How's it going?" Sophia's cheerful voice came through. "Hey, Soph. All good, just working," Olivia replied, smiling. "You workaholic. Listen, I was thinking maybe we go out this weekend. Relax, unwind." "Great idea," Olivia agreed. "It's been ages since we did. Perfect. I'll book a table at that new restaurant. Heard the food's amazing." "Deal," Olivia said. "Thanks, Soph. You always know how to cheer me up." "Nonsense. You know I'm always here." "Okay, won't keep you. Call if you need anything." "Will do," Olivia said and hung up. The chat lifted her spirits. She realized she had friends who loved and supported her, and that mattered deeply. Olivia looked out the window again. The city pulsed with lights and motion. She felt part of it, part of this life. She knew challenges awaited, but she was ready. She was strong, independent, and self-assured. Olivia switched off the office light and stepped outside. The night air was fresh and cool. She breathed deeply and smiled. "I lost a marriage, but regained myself," she whispered. "The key isn't revenge. It's knowing who you are." All right, thanks for listening.